if you're into these things, big swim baits, big bass, you're gonna wanna watch this video. Might be a little bit depressing, but this is kind of like the reality of fishing. So I gotta give my buddy Josh Roller as well as Jake Kamara at Bassmaster a little bit of credit here, because I wouldn't have seen the article if it weren't for them. I'm gonna put a link to this article down in the description box. You guys need to read it. It's 9 pages and it's not all about techniques, it's not all about tips, but it is kind of about, and we're gonna expand on this real quick, but how cheating, fame, money, all those things can corrupt any sport, including something as like niche as fishing. If it's true, it's really freaking depressing. So an article just went up. If you guys are into big swim baits, if you're into big bass, a lot of that origin history comes from California, and specifically there's a few guys out there, you know, if you know the history, but one of the big names is Mike Long. Everybody knows Mike Long. Mike Long is, you know, the big bass guru, you know, like he might not be super duper like famous right now or like, you know, as big as like Guggen Squad, you know, like all the YouTube stuff, but like he's a staple. He's a part of the timeline moving towards like all the big bass, big swim bait stuff that we do now. And he's just, he's one of the innovators. And that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. He is one of the innovators. So this article that got put up, it's super well sourced. There's a lot of cited kind of like people that they talk to about it. But basically what it boils down to, that whole 9 pages, is there's a lot of instances in which Mike Long put out records, lake records, which I guess were really important in the late 90s, early 2000s out in California, in the San Diego area, that were super duper questionable. There was questionable behavior, like there's questionable fish. There was, you know, he had some fish that really looked like they came from other lakes, and they weren't like for instance, like we're out here on in Central Florida on some green water lakes. So these fish out here are super green, but they're like really light bellied and they're really fat. You know, some of them are super long. If you catch a 12, it's like 28 inches long, but like they're very green, they're very fat. Whereas on Okeechobee, they're really dark green, they got a yellowish, goldish tint to it. So like different bodies of water, due to watercolor, due to just where the fish live, whether it's in cover or out deep, they have different colorations. That's one of the instances of he had a fish that didn't look right. If you read the article, you got to go in too. There's a lot of like presupposition in the first few pages of the article, but you got to read through it. But what is this? What does this lead to? You guys know I love to fish, and you know, like I try to kind of like sponsor that hashtag real fishing. You know, the reason I literally started making these videos is I was sick of being lied to. I think we've talked about it in earlier videos. You know, there's a little bit of fibbing. We're all anglers, dude. We you know, we'll tell our buddy, yeah, we caught him in 25 feet of water, you know, cranking, but we won't tell him where or something. You know, like, so like there's always a sort of general lying going on in fishing. Like I think the George Cochran Bassmaster Classic is like a great example. We were talking about those mega bass jerk baits and the old pointer, the Lucky Craft pointer. He said he threw like a Strike King jerk bait where he threw a freaking Lucky Craft pointer for the whole derby, and then he tried to like swap them out. So like it's been happening for years. Some of it is less harmful than others, but one of the big reasons I got into the videos is like I didn't know anything. My old man didn't fish, so I had a few friends that fished, but I didn't know anything, and I wanted to learn. And it was so difficult, especially this is kind of like pre-internet, like getting information that was viable. Like I just wanted to catch fish. I didn't want to steal your spots. I didn't want to do anything, but I know that's part of the deal. But like I just wanted to learn, and so there's a lot of like lies and all that. So I started making videos when I got into fishing hardcore, because I learned some stuff about video and things got more accessible. You know, one thing a lot of you younger guys don't know is like, dude, years ago, like to shoot a video out on the water like this was this huge, costly, like insane investment, dude. It costed so much to shoot video and to process it. You needed all this equipment. Dude, these days, like anybody, go to friggin' Walmart, get a $200 GoPro, $150 even crap like Chinese camera off of Amazon, and you can go shoot video and like capture your catches, capture what you were doing. And like there's a beauty to that. So much more information in like real fishing has been shared, and that's what like I'm all about. I'm just trying. I get a lot of trolls and a lot of people hate me. I could care less. All I'm trying to do is I love making these videos, and I like sharing my experience for 2 reasons. One, I'm hoping you guys take something away from it. and also maybe like share your perspectives on something that I'm doing so I can learn. And then the other thing is, it's like, for me, it's like a fishing log, dude. I can look back like a few months back on videos and be like, oh my God, I caught him that way. Maybe if I try that again, this situation is the same. So it's a fishing log. It's a way for me to keep track of like how things work, how they develop, because I'm always interested in like bass behavior and how things evolve, develop, patterns, all that kind of stuff. Anything like a total bass nerd is into, I'm into it. There's always two sides to a story. By the way, see my finger? I crashed a drone into my finger and like chopped it. It was bad. Thanks, JT. But there's always two sides to a story. So read the article and be critical. Don't just like suck it all up and be like, oh, he's horrible. But he pulled down his social media, which I'm simple with stuff, dude. If you friggin' like act guilty and look guilty, guess what? You're probably friggin' guilty. You hold judgment a little bit, but like those signals are a little bit weird. But basically, he like cheated his way to the top. He lied. He freaking faked certain catches. There's all kinds of like different things. There's even some poaching in there, like with catfish and stuff. There's just like a pattern of behavior, if it's true, that like if somebody does something once or twice, makes them, we all make mistakes, dude. We all screw up. We've all been there. It is what it is, dude. You grow and you move forward from that. However, if you continually like show patterns of behavior, odds are it's more of a character like essence. It's more something like that you are versus something that you did like on a whim. Oops, I'm sorry. What does this mean? It means that bass fishing I guess I should have known this, but maybe I'm naive, is just as easily corrupted and I don't know, just wrecked, and stories are destroyed, histories are rewritten, as any other sport. And even like just like with social media, everybody wants like pictures and like big bass on Instagram, on Facebook, which is cool, dude. Like I do it all the time. Like I love putting up big fish and sharing my perspectives and sharing like, dude, I'm fired up. I love when you guys like the videos and support the videos. Like I'm not gonna lie, it makes me feel good about what I'm doing, and it drives me to do it more. I guess I thought maybe bass fishing was a little bit cushioned. As I mentioned in the beginning, there's always lies and deceit. Like that's fishing like was literally like born in that. But at the same time, think of like the fishing story, the 8 that turned into a 9. You know how it is, dude. But at the same time, like you hope that there's some like cultural staples that have some truth and have some like essence in them, even if they're like blown up into kind of like fairy tales over a period of time. Like we have these things that kind of go in this timeline of where fishing is now and how it developed, and it's very worrisome when you look back and see that it might have been corrupted by cash, by fame, by wanting to be something and not going through the work and really just the grind and possibly failing. That's the other thing with fishing. We fail a lot more than we succeed. I mean, everybody's fishing tournaments and just sucked at them when you thought you were going to like do good. And that's something you have to deal with fishing. I'm not going to soapbox anymore. Guys, check out the link to the article down in the description box. I want you guys to read it because if nothing else, it's a lesson kind of as we move forward. Always be critical. I've talked about it before. We talked about with Lake Okeechobee. Like, always be critical of your sources. Always be critical of whoever's telling you something. Everyone has a bias, so take that into account as you like read through the article and be your own judge. But use it maybe as a tool to kind of looking forward. Is this full of? Is there truth to this? Is there? What's actually happening? And it just makes you a smarter angler and a smarter like analyzer of whether it's baits, whether it's fishing techniques, whether it's videos that somebody puts up, whether it's videos that I put up. Like, I'm all for people being critical of me. It won't hurt my feelings. Check out the article. I hope it's not true, but it's one of those things, like, if it barks, it's on 4 legs, and it licks your face, it's probably bog. All right, let's go. Get up. If it's true, it's a lesson for all of us. Tight lines, guys. Drop your comments down in the comment box. Let me know what you think after you read the article. I'm curious of your perspective on this because I'm withholding judgment, but at the same time, I'm 2/3 to the way of it looks pretty filthy, dude. And it looks like Mike Long cheated his way to where he's at and lied about it, which it's not right. There's enough of that in a million other things. We don't need that in fishing. We don't. Tight lines, guys. Mikeybalzz fishing. We're out.